Question for you. Can you become an SEO expert? Can you become a real SEO expert that actually gets results, that gets traffic, that gets sales, that knows what he or she is doing? Can you do it? Well, what I want to do is show you my story. I'm Ajay Paghdal. I'm the founder of a few SEO companies, SEO software, link building service, and I got started 6 years ago. And it took me a few years to really understand what SEO was. And I had this whole progression from being a total noob to really understand what I'm doing and see the long-term picture. And I can say that I'm good, but I want you guys to kind of quickly see my journey, all the different ways that I messed up, those lessons that I learned, so I can impart some of this to you. Because I think if you want to become an SEO expert, you're interested in this, and you're new to it, or you're kind of an amateur at it, SEO is it's tons and tons of different components, and you got to get a lot of it right over a long period of time in order to get results. Then the human brain doesn't think that way. The human brain has to build a framework around a certain process. So it needs to it needs to look at something and it needs to know what it is. Like if you're looking at a dresser, if you saw a dresser for the first time, you don't really know what it is, and you see the drawers coming out in the mirror, and that was something. Oh, that's a dresser. That's where you do this. Where you do that, and then you start kind of seeing the framework of what a dresser looks like. Therefore, no matter what other kind of dressers there are out there, you start getting a sense of, yeah, this is a dresser. So one of the ways that I'll kind of guide you through my SEO journey is kind of giving you the framework of what's involved in SEO, what some of the important things are, because inside of that, your brain is going to build a framework of, okay, this is the SEO process. And you start seeing what parts are important. And I'm hoping I can unlock a certain capacity and capability in your brain where you feel more confident with this process. So the first thing I'd like to do is show you the very first site that I launched back in 2012. Now, 2012 was a very interesting time in the SEO landscape. This is when there were a lot of spammers out there. There were people that were buying websites and using private blog networks. If you don't know what these terms are, I don't want to make this a video that's too long. So take the words, write them down, look them up later, but keep watching the video. And I said, I took this course, and they said, well, you gotta do this keyword research to understand what some of the high volume keywords are out there. And then you want to look at the competitors, and you want to determine if it's a low competition keyword. So I went and I spent hours doing keyword research, and I came across this keyword, how many calories to lose weight. And obviously health is all the rage. You can sell health products online. You can do affiliate promotion. So I said, you know what? 33,000 monthly searches. This looks amazing. If you Google how many calories to lose weight today, you'll see like these massive authority sites like WebMD and Healthline and these big fitness blogs. And it's just, they have internal page articles that show up that are optimized well for this kind of keyword. Now, back in 2012, it was the era of the exact match domain. And what that meant is you want to buy a domain that contains the keyword in it. So for me, it was how many calories to lose weight.com. That's the domain I bought. And I hand wrote like 5 or 6 articles. I published it on the site. And then when I hit the publish button, I was learning a little bit about, okay, the keyword research, then you optimize the page, and then you install WordPress, and then you add some images to the page, and you publish it, and then you add a few internal pages, and I hit publish, and I said, great, now the traffic is going to come. Obviously, there was no traffic. And then they said, well, you got to build a few links to build the authority of your site. So I built a few links, and still nothing really happened. And I wasn't really passionate about writing a blog. It just felt like I had this blog, and like I felt so far away from actually getting traffic and making money. I just hadn't developed any of the skill set. I hadn't seen any of the vision. So this really wasn't an opportunity for me to continue to pursue. And thank God I didn't, because, well, every single page in the first 5 pages of Google is an internal page. It's got nothing to do with the root domain containing the keyword. Okay, and there's a reason for that. The reason why people were recommending that you include the keyword in the domain is because back in the day, Google used that as a strong ranking signal. Nowadays, Google favors other signals, such as the brand authority, how much it trusts a specific domain, how much it believes that a specific domain has expertise in whatever niche that that keyword happens to be in. So it's a much more nuanced approach. Back then it was more simple. If I had pursued this back in the day with the old school tactics, I probably would have had results, but those results would have been taken away. Okay, so my first swing at a website, I launched it, I got it off the ground, I got some experience, didn't really go anywhere. So let's move on to my second site. And here, the first one I couldn't even find a screenshot for. My second site, however, I did. So my thinking evolved a little bit. I said, well, if I'm going to start a site, it should be for a keyword that actually has some commercial intent, so that if I rank for it and somebody searches for it and they find my website, I can probably monetize that traffic somehow. So at the time, the group I was in was teaching a lot of local SEO. So I said, you know what? Carpet cleaning seems interesting. I lived in Chicago at the time. So I said, why don't I build a website for carpet cleaning Chicago? So I bought the domain name professionalcarpetcleaningschicago.com. If you go to archive.org, you're going to see a photo of this website back in 2012. And then if you fast forward a few months, you'll see like a rebranded website of a specific business that I was able to rent this site out to, because I did my SEO. I learned a bit more about how to structure a page. I learned a bit more about how to build links. Like if you look at this, if you zoom in on this photo here, you see this is the home page. It's got Professional Carpet Cleaning Chicago. So Carpet Cleaning Chicago is in the domain name. And then if you look at the internal pages, it says cost of Chicago carpet cleaning, things to know about carpet cleaning, what a carpet cleaning Chicago company does. So I optimized the home page for Carpet Cleaning Chicago. And then I created all these internal pages for various related keywords, like Carpet Cleaning Chicago cost, for example, because that was some of the best practices back then. These are no longer the best practices, but within 3 months of launching this site, I actually got it to page 1. On the 4th month, I found a carpet cleaner in Chicago to rent the site out to. He paid me $2,000 to redesign the site onto his name, and then he was paying me $500 a month for lead gen. So every time someone hit the site, they'd call the number that was on the website, and that call would get transferred to the carpet cleaner. He would pick it up and he would take the calls. So each day he'd get 2 or 3 calls. It's a good situation for him, a good situation for me. It wasn't charging me any extra. It was just sitting there on page 1. And then that was fine for about 3 months. On the 4th month, the site got penalized. All of the rankings were gone. They went to as deep as page 10. And I really had no idea why. Because I bought this domain. It had the keyword in the domain. I built a bunch of anchor text because I was buying some private blog network sites and buying some links. And the anchor text I was using for those links were things like Carpet Cleaning Chicago, Carpet Cleaning in Chicago, Chicago Carpet Cleaning Company, Chicago Carpet Cleaning Services, because that's what we were getting taught to do at the time. But again, being new to the industry, only 6 months in, what I'm slowly getting at is there was something that wasn't even a part of my mind frame yet, and that's branded SEO. Okay, now Google had understood that most SEOs were just like me. They spun up a site, they started building links, they worried about the keywords, and then the results would come. So Google said, okay, this is how these guys like Ajay are doing it. Let's see how the real companies who actually have a company, have a business, they have a brand, they have employees, they have a marketing team, what kind of signals do they generate? And it definitely wasn't the type of signals I generated, okay? But in the meantime, I was so excited about these results. I also launched the Carpet Cleaning Houston site. Lots of traffic. Within a few months, it was on page 1. Within a couple months, I was able to get it rented out. And then literally within 20 days of being able to get it rented out, this was also penalized. I did the same thing in San Diego. I did the same thing in LA. I did the same thing in Tucson, Arizona. And over again, the sites that I would launch, some of them would succeed, but even the ones that succeeded would fall off of page 1. And this is months of my life, right? This is hard work. This is work that I sat in front of my computer. I was super passionate. I was taking in what people were teaching me. It was working at the time, but it wasn't really working because I wasn't building anything long term. I wasn't building anything I could hang my hat on. And every few months, my progress would just get reset because Google is not interested in showing the results of somebody who's doing things the way I was doing. Right. And then as I started to progress, I said, well, I'm kind of starting to learn some stuff. And I was decent at Gray Hat. I had these automated link building softwares, and I was mixing and matching, and I just showed you some of the page one results I got. So I would create all these videos to train my team on how to build these links. So I said, why don't I just turn these videos into an affiliate site for marketing? So Time Chamber Marketing was born, and if you go to archive.org, you'll see a bunch of sites there, a bunch of articles about different automated SEO tools and how to do it, and some affiliate links. So there's an old SEO tool, I think it's still out there, it's called Magic Submitter. So I ranked on page one for Magic Submitter review for a time. Got some traffic, got some affiliate links going, got some revenue going. So what did I do differently with my fourth site that it's actually a good thing? Well, in the first three sites, I didn't really have much real unique traffic on there. I just put up traffic for the sake of traffic. I bought some $10 articles. I put them up there, threw a few images on there, keyword optimized titles and URLs, and off we went. Right, that got the job done, but it wasn't enough to really pass some of the bigger filters that Google has, like Panda. Now in this one, this was actually the homepage was timechambermarketing.com. That's not a keyword. That's my first non-keyword optimized website. So that's a good thing. That's actually a brandable name, right? The internal pages, they talked about some different reviews, different ways to do different things. So, and that was just, me creating video content, adding some descriptions to it. So it's actually some hard work and real content that went into building out the site. And then once I launched the site, I started building links to the internal pages about Magic Submitter review and a review of Magic Submitter and Magic Submitter tutorials and Magic Submitter guide. And what happened is I got the rankings, and then one day the rankings were gone again. At the time I didn't really understand why. I didn't think I was good at SEO. I saw a lot of other sites also going from page one to page nothing. But then I also saw some sites that were just kind of sticking around, no matter what industry. So I started to, now that I had a framework of, okay, I know how to build a site, I know what kind of content is required, I'm starting to see the importance of branding, I'm starting to understand that the type of links that I'm building, which were private blog network links at the time, they're really not reliable, or keeping yourself out of trouble is really, really difficult. So now, why don't we fast forward to today, whereas years ago, the exact match domains were highly, highly popular. Now, if you look at page one for something like carpet cleaning Chicago, you see Yelp, Home Advisor. Carpet cleaning Houston, you see a local business with a branded homepage name. If you look at how many calories to lose health, you see Health Status, Healthline, Calculator.net, Eating Well, Women's Health Magazine. What are we seeing? What's the trend that I'm talking about here? We're talking about websites that have high domain authority, that have lots of branding, that are real sites owned by real people. Those are the sites that are ranking in Google, right? So I wanted to summarize what some of the lessons were and what I did wrong. Biggest mistake number one was just thinking way too small. At first site I built was how many calories to lose weight.com. Okay, now what happens if I build an authority site around that topic? How far can I expand that beyond how many calories to lose weight.com, right? I didn't have the confidence to think that I could compete with some of the bigger, the big boys and gals that were on page one, that had lots of articles, that had lots of authority, that had lots of links. I just didn't think I was up to the task, so I wanted to snipe a keyword. But you have to change your mind frame a little bit, and we'll talk more about that. Number two is obviously link quality is a huge deal. When I got into SEO, this is just when Google really started getting smart about links, back when Penguin started rolling out. So I had this interesting viewpoint where I was born into SEO around the time when the old guard was kind of getting pushed out. And I experienced the old way and how it worked, and then almost immediately how those old ways were getting penalized. So it put me in this unique position of seeing the power of the old ways and trying to figure out ways on how to apply that, but in a white hat, high quality way. I didn't consider brand important. Branding is extremely important for so many parts of the business. Some of them are intangible unless you really understand by doing it and seeing the effects, because they're kind of like, they're fuzzy effects, but they work because more people trust you, you get more yeses and all that stuff. But more importantly, for our purposes, Google thinks that branding is important. The way Google understands branding is your branded anchor text profile, how many times people are searching for your brand name in Google. And they'll look for brand quality signals, like how much time people spend on your site and all that kind of stuff. But really, are they searching for your brand? Do you have lots of branded anchor text in your backlink profile? And I thought of content as an afterthought. I thought, well, here are my keywords. I'll pay somebody $10 to write an article, get the keyword in the title, keyword in the URL, image optimize some of the pages, or keyword optimize some of the images, slap them on the site, and boom, that's content. Maybe 5 years ago, not anymore. And probably one of the biggest reasons why my carpet cleaning Chicago site got hit, my carpet cleaning Houston site got hit, is because when you looked at the anchor text profile, it was just too much keyword anchor text. And there was variety in that anchor text. There was different forms of the keyword. But there weren't enough branded signals, there weren't enough URL signals, there weren't enough natural signals, there weren't enough compounded partial signals. It was just too much. And it worked quickly, and then just as quickly it was gone. And those were hard lessons. Compositely, it took me years to really understand and internalize each one of them. But I had seen the power of SEO firsthand. I saw that I went from nothing to a website that made me $500 a month, right? Before that, I was trading hours doing what somebody else wanted me to do, and now I within just a couple months, I was starting to replace some of my salary, and I had to figure out how to make these results stick so I could scale it. So here's what I started doing about each one of these. When I was thinking too small, I started looking at how people built authority sites on their own. I started looking at how real brands did it. Real brands didn't even care about link building. They just created great content. So I tried that, but it's too slow. We don't have the pockets that big brands do. We don't have the PR, the reach that big brands do. So if you want to act like a big brand, you can't, because you don't have the notoriety or the budget, but you can look like a big brand if you engineer your SEO campaigns properly. But it starts with knowing what you want, and you should want an authority site that's an authority in whatever topic you're in. You don't want to be an authority in too many topics, because that's not going to work. But you want to be an authority in a topic that's wide enough, but niche enough. Okay. And once you start on the process, it's going to suck before it gets great. The first few months are very thankless. You do a lot of work. If you're doing it for the first time, nobody's going to believe in you. You're probably not even going to believe it in yourself if you've never seen it actually work. So you have to have faith that you create this great content, you put up a site, you're doing the outreach, you're building the links. You have to have faith that 6 months, 1 year, there's going to be results. And this is the same pathway that thousands of people have taken before you. There's no reason why your site isn't one that deserves to get rewarded like this. You can go to Fiverr.com, you can go to Upwork, you can buy links for $5 a link, $10 a link. You can do it really, really cheaply. And a lot of this stuff used to work, and there's a lot of dinosaurs who still think it works. But what did I just show you about the short-term thinking, how you can get results and how quickly they can go away. What's the point of that for SEO? Google wants quality links. There's people out there who own quality websites. Why doesn't your website deserve a link from their website? It does deserve it. It's just about engineering the right system in order to know who to target, how to target them in a way that actually makes them receptive to giving you a link. And most importantly, if you've tried guest posting in the past, you might have seen that, well, people are happy to respond to your email with a media kit where they say, sure, I'll publish an article on my site. That'll be $300. People will respond with their media kits all day telling you how much a link on their website costs. Okay, and that's perfectly fine for them. They built this authority site. They want to monetize it that way. Good for them. And if you have unlimited budget, then go ahead and do that. But chances are, you want to score these links without having to pay the blogger a dime, and there's a way to do that, and it took me 3 years to figure out what that way was. But that's something that we do now on a daily basis, and it's something that I can teach you how to do as well. Another mistake, not thinking about branding or not thinking about it enough. In fact, it's the single most important part of a link building campaign, and if you're not thinking about it, and if you're just thinking about your keywords, or you don't think that the value of a homepage link is powerful, or if you don't think that the value to just a random blog post, linking to a random blog post is powerful, you're dead wrong. High quality websites, they generate tons of branded links. They generate tons of links to blog posts just because they have reach, they have awareness. And just because you're building branded links to your homepage, you're building links to a page that isn't really a commercial service page, it doesn't mean that it's not directly helping you improve the rankings of whatever keywords you want. It is, because you're building a castle. And a part of that is building a foundation that'll support all the bells and whistles that you're going to put in along the way. And this is just a part of it. So you have to start thinking about brand, not as an afterthought, but at the very forefront of your mind. So you saw how crappy some of the sites were, the carpet cleaning Chicago sites, stuff like that. Now if you go to outreachmama.com, in fact, I'll show you. I have about 6 commercial pages on here. I've got a case study that's 6,000 words long, and I've got 4 mega authority articles. 4,000, 5,000 words each, highly designed, written with love, and these are the articles that we build links to. Okay, so quality is no longer an afterthought for me. Quality is at the forefront of my mind. If I'm not going to build something of quality, I just don't need to build it. Right? If I get tired of creating content, that's fine. I don't need content. I can just build links to these amazing articles here. And eventually that'll get me more traffic to this page. It'll power up my overall domain. It'll improve the rankings for my service pages because it transfers link juice throughout the site. And so for me, I'm not worried about volume anymore. I'm just worried about quality. Even if you only do 1 article a month, only if you do 1 article every 2 months, as long as it's great content, that's fantastic. If you don't like to write, that's fine, neither do I. Go to upwork.com, go to problogger.net, post a job, whatever niche you want, get some writers, get some samples. You're not going to find the best writer right away, so you need to dig a little bit. Be willing to put in the time. Once you find that perfect writer who fits your budget and creates great work, you're going to be on your way. When you're sitting there and you're building a link and you have an opportunity, it is so tempting to just want to jam a keyword in there, because it doesn't feel like you're getting the most bang for your buck or your time by building a natural link or a naked link or a title tag or a branded link or some kind of partial, like you just want to use that exact match keyword because it just feels good. But you have to stop that inclination. You have to think of anchor text as that's a part of a greater whole. If you build 10 links to a page, those 10 anchor text, they need to be varied. Sure, you can have some keyword stuff in there, but you need to vary it up with branded signals and different types of signals. And a part of the reason why we created the Linkio software is it actually has an automated anchor text analysis engine where you put in the URL, it queries all the existing links, it categorizes what those links are, and it gives you a roadmap on what you should build next because of this dangerous inclination of just doing keyword stuffing. It's hurting your chances long-term at a successful business. Right, so going through all these learning lessons, now I kind of understand the framework of what goes into a successful SEO campaign. It's the one-time setup of the site. It's picking the right topics and sticking to just quality. It's how do you build links and how do you scale it with automation without having to pay through the nose every time you score a link. And what anchor text should you be using to actually generate results but stay safe so you can have long-term results with minimal risk. So this is some of the stuff that we talk about on the Outreach Mama newsletter. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about in an upcoming course that we're launching. These are some of the problems that we're using to solve with the Linkio software. These are some of the issues that we're trying to help businesses with the Outreach Mama link building service. So there's tons of ways that you can get help from me. One of the best ways to engage is go to the outreachmama.com site, click on resources, and there's going to be a place for the newsletter. Okay, just go to the newsletter link, outreachmama.com/newsletter, sign up. You'll get some of my lessons frequently, and you can always email me with any questions that you have. Thanks a lot for taking the time. If you have any questions, leave a comment, email me, aj@outreachmama.com.